In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, where the roots of civilization first took hold, archaeologists have unearthed one of the most formidable relics of the Assyrian Empire. In Khorsabad, northern Iraq, once the glorious capital of King Sargon II, a massive winged bull statue known as a Lamassu has been brought to light. This isn't just any archaeological find. This is a 2,700-year-old guardian of stone, carved from alabaster, standing 3.8 meters tall, stretching 3.9 meters in length, and weighing over 18 tons. Its discovery is a monumental leap forward in our understanding of Assyrian art, religion, and urban planning. Although the statue's head was stolen decades ago, likely trafficked during the region, as unstable periods, the body remains astonishingly intact. Its details, craftsmanship, and sheer scale speak volumes about the ambitions of the Neo-Assyrian Empire and the sacred beliefs they inscribed into stone. Ancient Mesopotamia is often credited as the cradle of civilization, the place where farming and cities began. That may sound peaceful, but the reality was far from it. It was, in fact, a succession of civilizations that conquered one another. The sculptures that you are seeing were made by the Assyrians, who controlled the ancient Near East from around 1000 BCE to 500 BCE. These particular sculptures come from the palace of Sargon II and were carved at the height of Assyrian civilization in the 8th century BCE. This site is located in modern-day Khorsabad, Iraq. Various Assyrian kings built palaces in different cities, Nimrod and Assur before this, and later in Nineveh. These sculptures originate from the excavation at Khorsabad. This is a masterpiece of ancient power and symbolism. The Lamassu, half human, half bull, and winged like a celestial being, was not merely a decorative feature. It was a divine sentinel positioned at the gates of cities and palaces to ward off evil, intimidate enemies, and assert divine authority. In essence, it fused myth with geopolitics. Finding a Lamassu in situ, precisely where ancient Assyrians placed it, is a rare and invaluable opportunity. It gives us a literal and symbolic entrance into their world. The site itself, Khorsabad, or Dur-Sharrukin, was built as a grand capital by Sargon II in the 8th century BCE. Every brick, inscription, and sculpture was designed to project imperial supremacy and cosmic order. And the Lamassu was central to that vision. Its face, originally human, would have looked directly at you, piercing, calm, and divine. Its wings, carefully feathered, stretched outward to suggest swiftness and omnipresence. Its body, muscular and grounded, embodied the physical strength of the empire. Together, these elements created a symbol of divine kingship. But this statue is not just about past glory. It is a cultural witness, a survivor. It has withstood time, war, looting, and neglect. Now, re-emerging from the sands of Khorsabad, it calls us to re-examine our shared human legacy. What stories are etched into its flanks? What rituals once surrounded its presence? What fears and hopes did it protect against? Discoveries like this are not just archaeological data points. They are revelations. Each chisel mark carries the hand of an Assyrian craftsman who lived nearly 3 millennia ago. Each detail is intentional and imbued with theological, political, and magical meaning. The Lamassu's role as a guardian deity was not symbolic alone. The Assyrians believed in its spiritual efficacy. To them, this was a living protector. Its position near gateways was strategic and sacred. It watched over the comings and goings of thousands. It stood between chaos and order. And now, it stands between the forgotten and the remembered. This find also speaks to the urgent need for preservation. Iraq's archaeological heritage is among the richest in the world. Yet it has suffered greatly from conflict and looting. The Lamassu's missing head is a sobering reminder of what has been lost. But its preserved body is a call to action, to protect, restore, and study. Scholars around the globe will now be able to analyze its proportions, artistic conventions, and cultural context in ways never before possible. Digital imaging, 3D reconstruction, and comparative studies will help us reconstruct what it once looked like in full glory. We can model its original placement. We can even estimate the pigments that once colored its surface. For students of history, this is a dream. For humanity, it is a treasure. To uncover a Lamassu is to unearth a voice from deep antiquity, a voice that tells us about belief, identity, and power. A voice that reminds us how civilizations rise, carve meaning into stone, and leave behind guardians of their story. Let us not forget, the Assyrians helped define the ancient world. Their texts, their cities, their gods all shaped the trajectory of civilization. And now, through this Lamassu, they speak again. To the curious, to the scholars, to anyone willing to listen. The most impressive pieces that survive are the guardian figures that protected the city, gates and the citadel, the sacred and royal center that housed the temple and the palace. At each of these gates stood guardian figures, winged bulls with human heads. They were called Lamassu. Placed at gateways, their presence made sense. They were fearsome and powerful symbols, not only of divine protection, but also of the authority of the Assyrian king. They are enormous, yet even these monumental figures would have been dwarfed by the architecture. They stood between massive arches and also served a structural role. Each Lamassu was carved from a single block of stone, a monolith. In the ancient world, transporting and installing such stones was an extraordinary feat. Relief carvings found in the palace even depict the process of moving these colossal statues into place. While the Lamassu served as gateway guardians, the palace walls were adorned with reliefs depicting hunting scenes and other displays of royal power. This particular Lamassu once guarded the city's outer gate. It remains in remarkably good condition. One of its most striking features is the crown. It is decorated with rosettes, double horns that curve upward toward the center, and a ring of feathers on top. This delicate design stands in contrast to the sheer mass and strength of the creature. The faces are intricately detailed. At the top of the forehead, wavy incised hair appears just below the crown, above a unified eyebrow. The ears are those of a bull and are adorned with elaborate earrings. The entire figure is highly ornamental. The beard is especially complex. Small ringlets appear on the cheeks, and as the beard flows downward, it forms spirals interrupted by horizontal bands. The wings contribute to the decorative beauty, rising along the sides and extending across the back. The body itself is textured with ringlets, giving the impression of fur. Beneath the creature and around its legs are inscriptions in cuneiform. Some of these inscriptions proclaim the king's power. Others warn of damnation for those who threaten the king's works, namely the citadel. These sculptures were designed to be seen both from the front and from the side. Interestingly, the Lamassu has 5 legs. Viewed from the front, it appears to be standing still, watching. But from the side, it appears to be walking forward. One front leg overlaps to complete the illusion. This duality had a deeper meaning. As you approach the gate, the creature remained still guarding, observing. But as you passed through, accepted into the city, it moved with you. This was more than art. It was ideology carved in stone. There is a remarkable blend of decorative stylization, anatomical precision, and imagination in the sculpture. The abdomen swells, the hindquarters draw back, and muscles, veins, and bones are clearly rendered. This fusion of the real and the fantastic underscores the symbolic importance of the figure. The Lamassu was both myth and messager, a demonstration of the king's power and divine right to rule. These statues are awe-inspiring. No one could enter the citadel without being overwhelmed by the strength and grandeur of the Assyrian civilization.